Gender-based violence is exactly what it means. It's exactly the acronym in GBV, gender-based violence. So it's violence, towards gender, and that could be, in a broad way. You can look at it into violence like, sexual, psychological, physical, economical, and all of that. It could even be all together that, mostly females and individuals from the 2LGBTQ plus community actually do experience, I will use the word suffer from. So it's a very serious conversation to have, to create more awareness, to create more understanding, to understand that, it creates a ripple of health conditions like mental, and economical, like lack of resources, and could even lead to poverty. Most impacted is the female, gender as in female, and the towards LGBTQ plus community. And that could be, when we say that, that could also mean like who belongs to the towards LGBTQ community. The trans women belongs there. There's some people who are asexual that belongs there, who are in the plus, which means they don't have a feeling to have sexual intercourse, and they may be raped or something like that, or violated. But since someone's sexuality is no sex, and you violate them, that's already a violence. Because the towards LGBTQ is a really huge community. And when we say violence against that, we can talk about violence against, transgender, women, violence against asexual, violence against bisexuality. All of those things are huge. There's violence against demisexual. Demisexual just means people who only have intimate relationship, intimacy through emotional and spiritual connection, and I'm one of those. If I don't have emotional or spiritual connection, I cannot have intimacy with someone. So if someone violates me, that's violence against, so violence could come in different ways. It could just be physical, it could be sexual, it could be, we don't just want to talk about the whole sexual aspect, but that's the most pronounced. So those are the most, we just don't want to talk about aspect of GBV on sexual. Yeah. We can talk about GBV on aspect of physical, aspect of economical, like, financial. You see sometimes where some men totally control the power dynamics in the house in terms of the money. The woman could even hand money or may not hand money, and the man only tells the woman how to spend the money. She doesn't have the freedom to do anything. Even to go buy things like even personal stuff, they have to wait for the man to give her, allowance to go do that. So, and if she goes against his principles, and that could end up into violent act that could be maybe physical or more damaging. Or you can even have people who have experienced complexity of all of it together. So that's GBV. So it's a huge thing to continue to talk about, and for us to continue to create that awareness and find ways for us to eradicate it in our society. That's where the educational piece comes in, because we want to make sure that we continue to have this conversation and we continue to create this awareness, because there is still that social cultural aspect of GBV where the norm or the expectation, the society expectation or the cultural expectation is that a woman is a caregiver, and a woman has no voice, no say, and a woman's place belongs in doing the dishes, making. I was once that kind of a woman too, where I felt like, I really want to have my own, stream of making my own income to take care of myself. I had dreams and I had goals, but my place was mostly take care of the babies, clean and do the laundry and cook, and then have more babies, and that was definitely GBV in its own different variations. The expectation with some religious or cultural expect a woman to, succumb and be obedient to the partner, husband, without having a say, no matter how critical she has to put her voice out there. So we need to continue creating these forms of education and talks to start finding ways to dismantle those stereotypical and biases in the cultural norms and settings, to understand that a woman is just as a human being as a man too, with equal rights, and should be able to make decisions at home and not just be an obedient servant, right? That's not how it's supposed to be. And it's still ongoing to this day, to this moment. And I know quite a few people in that situation, because I've experienced it. I speak out and I'm trying to help so many other women out there. I was once upon a time that woman that had to put all our qualifications and opportunities aside, and because I was having babies, I also remember when my ex would ring me and tell me to leave work and come straight home to come take care of the kids, and I would tell him, no, you take care of them because I have to have a meeting and it's going to run till late, and he'd be like, no, I have a meeting to go, you have to come take, this is your place. I was like, it's your child too, you have to be able to spend time with your kids. It was so frustrating as a mother for me. It was just because I didn't want my kids to suffer. I saw I had a child who was neurodivergent, and I needed to make sure that it was well taken care of. He usually had a lot of trauma when I leave him alone, and he couldn't stay at daycare. So it used to break my heart, and I used to leave work to come take care of my babies, right? And and at some point I had to give up everything to be a full-time mom, to clean, cook, and take care of the kids, and take care of the man too, right? And do all the work. And most women are like this, and their goals and aspirations just keep dying because they can't really have a man who understands to find time to take care of the home and joint take care of the home with a woman. Things are changing for majority of families. I see a lot of improvement, but there is still those acts of GBV in our society today that we need to continue to create this educational piece. And you made a comment about women not wanting to, change that because they feel like, at the end of the day, they're getting provision from the man, and then the new country, they don't know the laws, they don't know how to act. We're not saying, let's put a tsunami in a relationship and cause a breakup. No, but we're saying, does it not benefit the man to allow the woman to bring and earn money as well? And most parts, sometimes, the men are only just insecure about the woman doing better than they are. So they don't want to. You see, women who are professionals with really professional titles can't work because the men want to have that power dynamic with the woman. They want to be seen as, I'm the man, I am the provider, and I'm bringing more the money in, right? Rather than to change the mindset of we can do it jointly and then we have more income, we can have more better life. And it can help the man too in terms of their mental health and struggling to pay those bills on their own, right? So it's a win-win situation if people look at it in a different angle and really give women the opportunity to not just look at them as women, but look at them as deserving human beings to be able to achieve their goals. So we can break those cycles. We don't have to break the bond. We can educate the person violating, or we can also realize that this violation is causing our mental health. And your mental health is just like your health, and you should protect it. And if that is a really violation, that you're being really, there's a lot of such an act of violence that is affecting you health-wise, then maybe you have to start thinking about where is the best space for you to be at that moment and take care of you. Because if you don't take care of you first, you can't even take care of your children or anybody else or your partner or your family. So yes, it still exists in either tiny dose or huge dose. GBV is GBV, and is a serious experience, and I don't wish that on anyone. For someone like me who have actually experienced it, and we can talk about GBV. We could talk about things like even stalking you. I had my ex stalking me all over the internet and still does that. Stalking me across everywhere, even physically will fly down to stalk me, figure out what my address is, will stalk me. That also is GBV. What I've been actually preaching a lot more, just as I said, break the cycle. You don't have to break the bond. That means the bond, I mean, like with your children, you have to protect them in terms of like what they should expect from someone else, how they're being treated, to be ensured that they don't treat others like that. Because I stand a really good example from GBV, because in all aspects of it, I've experienced it in a way that is painful. but also it's important for anyone who is experiencing it to seek professional help and talk about it so that they can overcome that part and really focus on who they are. Like you said, I've had delays in things that I wanted to do, things I wanted to achieve. I've some of my dreams, I've had to put them on the carpet because like I couldn't do them, and things that I've left wealth and start from the beginning. So there's so many aspects of it. So the economical aspect, financial aspect that can affect you, but you have to decide, you know, your life and your well-being and your emotional, mental well-being is more precious than anything else, and is a way to protect. And I think community, society, we all have to come together to make sure that we speak out when it comes to GBV, and we support people who are experiencing it, who are going through it, create more education and awareness for the community at large. So sometimes people who are doing this don't even understand what GBV is, that they are doing this because they've been brought up with this cultural norms or religious expectation that the man is king and the man is supreme, right? So women will work so hard like slave themselves and not take care of themselves, but take care of everyone. And that's not the right way to do things. It's just like when you get in the plane, they always tell you put your oxygen mask first before you attend to anybody else. So most women don't even have an oxygen mask to put on. When you tell someone my husband raped me, and they'll be like, "Is your husband? He has a full right to do whatever he wants to do with you." No, he doesn't, right? No is no, right? You cannot violate me. When you say things like, we had a quarrel and I wasn't given money. I didn't have any money to cook. I didn't have any money to buy my sanitary. I didn't buy any money. It's not okay just because he brings the money. It's not okay to be violent through financial, cut off from you. There's so many aspects of it, and speaking out is difficult, but it's the one step to you finding yourself and really showing self-love and self-care to yourself, so that if you have children or not, that you can really truly take care of yourself, so that you can be able to live your life, not just survive but thrive. Because right now I'm big into mental health, and this is because of my own lived experiences, trying to help anyone out there who is experiencing any sort of like mental um, instability, that you can actually be better than me where I am, and you can sit here or somewhere else and be helping others to come out from whatever they're experiencing. But you need to take care of yourself and you need to speak out. So one of the aspects, especially we from you know marginalized communities or groups, I'll call it, we don't like talking to the police. We always feel like we've done something diabolical, something terrible if we go to the police against a family member. But you have to understand the police are there to serve, and the police are there to protect you, and it's one step in you for your safety. And why am I saying this? We've lost so many people who could have spoken to the police, and so many of them have been taken away from this earth because they didn't speak to anybody. And all of these different aspects of GBV has led to different aspects of sadness, death that we shouldn't be talking about, and that we should be finding ways to mitigate this risk by stopping and creating more awareness of what GBV is and how we can come together as a community to save lives. I just want you to know, I know this is a very sensitive matter to discuss. It's really very heavy, and whoever might be listening to this that might be experiencing it, I just want you to know that there is help out there and there is hope. And you don't have to put yourself in hiding, and you've not done anything wrong by seeking help for yourself. Because truly, if you can help yourself, then you can help every other member of your family, and they can really understand what you're going through. You might feel like nobody's going to listen to you, nobody's going to believe you, but please speak up, because the people out there, the organizations out there who are ready to assist you and support you and create more education to members of your family for them to understand what you're going through. So the people out there to support you, and the people who love you incredible, even those who know you and don't know you. So the most importantly is to keep you safe and make sure that you understand what you're experiencing, because this life, we're all meant to live it, and we're not meant to have life livers. And you're meant to be thriving, not striving. So if there's something that is burning in your heart that you want to do, you want to be part of, those are the kind of things that you should be thinking about, and nothing should be in your way, not even GBV, from stopping you from achieving your aspirations and goals. So please speak up like I did, and you can be the next person here as a guest on the podcast and talking about GBV and saving more lives. We care about you.